You're listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to Cult of Campbell. I'm Ty.
I'm Michael.
And this is a little preemptive review. We did this out of nowhere. We decided we're going to watch this show you've been telling me about.
Yeah, we're hanging out, and we was working on some things like Cult of Campbell episode. What are we going to do?
Yeah. And you've told me about this show for a minute. I've seen it on Netflix. I've known about it for a long time. And this is The Last Kids on Earth. Apparently
based off a novel or a book series.
Yeah, a book series by Max Brailer. Looks like they're pretty popular.
Did you ever read them? I never read them.
Never
heard of them.
Looks like they never read them. Looks like they're New York Times bestsellers.
I might have to read them because,
there's 7 currently.
Yeah, I might have to read them because the Netflix series, there's no new horizon of the next season or anything. They call them books, but they're seasons. But
didn't make it past book 3.
I looked up because I think that came out in 2020 is the last one. I can't remember when the last book came out.
It looks like it. Yeah, the last book is on its way, but the series ended on April 6th, 2021.
2021.
Yeah, it was the last.
We're in 2023 now, so it's one of those series I discovered late. And I was like, I wonder when the last one was pushed. And it was 2021. I'm like, oh no.
And you didn't know Bruce was in this until I told you.
Right. Yeah, I had no idea. Because he don't play a very prominent part until a little later on into the series.
Yeah.
He's there, but he becomes more relevant as you go on through the series.
So I told Mike, I said, pick out an episode where Bruce is prominent and I'll give it a shot. And he picked out a episode called Tunnel Vision. Book 3, Book 3, episode 6. Yeah, Book 3, episode 6. And Bruce in this plays the chef. Not South Park chef.
Not South Park chef.
No salty chocolate balls in this.
Gross.
So this also, anyone else notable in this? Catherine O'Hara is in it as well.
Yeah, I think it was kind of a little bit of a who's cast involved.
I think they kind of cast a lot of their secondary roles. They have some Mark Hamill's in it. Catherine O'Hara, Keith David plays a character named Thrall.
So
Rosario Dawson's in it. I love Rosario Dawson. Catherine O'Hara. I was kind of surprised to see her in this. That's what is she? Is she the? I don't want to say it wrong.
I'm horrible with actor.
Yeah, she's the mom from Home Alone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and she does the voice of Sally, doesn't she? Yeah, she's the voice of Sally.
Is it her?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yep. The mom from Beetlejuice, mom from Home Alone, and Sally.
Look at her go.
Yeah.
Her career is really going up.
Yeah. I'm sure she's making plenty of money off residuals off those movies alone.
Nice pun there.
Yeah.
Did you mean for that?
No, I did not.
No, okay. So Last Kids on Earth, what do you know about it?
Not much. Not a lot. I was not going to lie. We watched you dropped me in the one episode in the middle of the series, and I didn't really understand a lot what was going on.
And I can't tell you to watch it because then you'll never watch the series.
Yeah,
I got to just let you come across that on your own.
I will say this episode didn't do a lot for me. So
it was kind of a lackluster episode. This thing does better as you know everything connects, because this episode is where Bruce's character. What's the character's name? Is he just called Chef? I can't remember his name in the show.
Yeah, just Chef.
Just Chef. And it's kind of a culmination of the past couple episodes where he's sending Dirk off to do these tasks, which he's hoping that the kid will just fail and die, essentially. And he's just sending him off because he wants to be an honorary monster, but they don't want him to be an honorary monster. But he's completed 2 tasks, and now he's like, give me because he told him it's if you do 3 tasks, you'll become an honorary monster. And he sent him off just 2 random ones where he's hoping he'd die.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it's when you see in this that he's like, yeah, I totally got a 3rd task, and I'll tell you that 3rd task right now. And
okay, so we're seeing the culmination of this little arc.
Yeah.
Man, I think we're going to talk about it some more here next one, because man, we know how to hook them. Getting one random episode of a cartoon series got canceled 2 years ago. This is how you build an audience on a podcast. So take note. We're giving you people what you want.
It's kind of the story of Bruce's career, though. He gets involved in things that have promise, and then it just ends.
It happens, but hey, we love him for it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and drop in our next segment, and let's talk about Last Kids on Earth. But let's get groovy.
grab your boomstick and fire up the Delta. It's time for ACTION. Join the cult of Campbell.
Groovy.
And if you're lucky a little later, I'll let you play with my boomstick.
So Last Kids on Earth.
My first time watching it. I've heard about it. I remember way back when we first called it Campbell, and we were doing the weekly format where he was coming off the episode every week, and we had come up with the plan to like every other week would be like a series of something.
Right.
Ash vs. Evil Dead, and Last Kids on Earth was kind of something he's kicking around as eventually getting to, and that came to it. It doesn't seem like it would have been that there was not that much stuff to pull from.
As a whole, there would be more to pull from, but as that's what I was kind of wondering. Would it be better for Call to Campbell in the future just to do in a series, like when Bruce Campbell's in a series, just go through and just do those series as an episodes? Well, you build on it.
You've seen about this whole series, right? You've watched the whole thing.
I watched the entire thing. Yeah.
Yeah. You seem like you liked it quite a bit. So
yeah, and I grabbed this episode just off my head. I was like, well, that one where he's trying to.
So here's what we can do. We can kind of talk a little bit about this episode, but then I want you to tell me a little bit more about Chef as a whole of the series, and we can. I want your opinion on how that character holds up throughout the whole show.
Yeah, because he also kind of arcs. He has a little character arc. Okay,
so this episode we see Chef, like you said. There's a character named Dirk, who I assume is like the muscle of the group.
Yeah, he before the world went to shit, he was the bully of Quint and Jack. He was like their bully. But when everything went to shit, there was no one else around, and they just kind of team up.
So what exactly happened?
There was just some rift that ripped open in the sky, and all these monsters of all different various sizes and everything. Because there's some are like the size of buildings.
Okay.
And then there's just like these small crawly creatures even.
And also zombies.
Yeah, and people got turned into zombies.
Okay.
Which the kids don't kill them because they're still people. They just became zombies.
So are some monsters good, others are bad, it seems like?
Yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag. It's not all of them are bad. They're just monsters. They're just people from different dimension.
And Chef is a good monster.
Yeah, I mean, as much as like a bully type person would be a good person.
Okay, so he's just kind of an asshole.
Yeah, he's basically just an asshole. Much like the bully kid was before the world went to shit. Just like an asshole, but turned good for a reason. But this is still kind of Chef's realm of things, so he's still just an asshole in his element. Okay, essentially, if you look at it
now,
that way.
Does this Dirk character and Chef interact a lot?
Yeah, they do end up interacting quite a bit, especially after that episode.
So this episode, like Mike was saying, this Dirk character wants to be a monster for some reason.
He just wants to be an honorary monster. He wants to feel included. You know, just like bullies, they just want to feel like they belong.
Okay. And this Chef character is in charge of helping him along with this?
He's not helping him. He's fucking with him. Okay. Really. So, like, again, he's sending him on these bullshit tasks. Like, yeah, you'll become a monster if you just go do this thing, which, again, he's hoping kills him. He dies. Dirk has also taken his friends along with him on a couple of the tasks. And that's at the beginning of this episode. He's like, you sent me over there to take care of this whatever monster, not knowing it was like a 50-foot tall monster in this junkyard. And he's like, you about killed me and my friends. And he's just real pissed about it. But he was still like, I did it still, and showed him the picture. It's like, I still did it, you bitch.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
And yeah, so this episode, basically, the whole time, Bruce is just making odd food dishes.
Yeah, because he didn't have an idea what the third task was going to be.
He didn't expect the kid to make it past 2.
He didn't expect the kid to make it past 2. And he was telling the whole time, like, 3 tasks. I was like, oh, you know, because he did the first one. I was like, well, okay, go do this second task, because that was definitely the one that's going to kill him, a 50-foot monster. And he comes back, he's like, yeah, I got a third task. Like, Dirk's like, well, tell me what it is. I'll tell you right now. Tell me. Just that whole back and forth. And then the chef just sees someone walking by with some disgusting, you know, monster food that the monsters do eat.
So the monsters just live on Earth now.
They're just chilling on Earth. These particular group are coexisting. They actually set up like a perimeter of this area to keep other zombies and stuff out because there's like this crystals or goo or something, I can't remember what it was, that they found, and they set it up around the perimeter that keeps all the zombies out, so they're never being invaded by zombies, and the monsters in there are just kind of coexisting. And for the most part, the bad monsters won't fuck with you unless you fuck with them or they're very territorial.
Okay.
so they really won't fuck with you. So they're just coexisting. These 4, there's only the 4 kids. No other humans are in there, so it's mostly monsters and these 4 kids.
Oh, and is that pretty much the whole series?
Yeah, that's pretty much what goes around.
Okay, so Bruce is chef. So he's in the whole, like, is he season 1 kind of guy, or?
Yeah, he shows up in season 1. Well, probably not book 1 because you said that's a big movie.
Yeah,
I can't remember if he pops up in that one. He might, because that's just a lot of development getting you going into the series. But he's throughout it even from the beginning. But he plays more of a role as the series goes on.
Okay, and does he ever turn on him? He seems like one of those characters that could be a bad guy.
No, there are monsters that turn on the kids, but never him. He doesn't turn on him. Because it actually, after this episode, after, Dirk's an honorary monster and everything, they have to fight. Their perimeter gets destroyed for reasons, and zombies and everything start coming in, some bigger monsters. What you see at the end of this episode, like the army of the flying monsters are coming to go destroy them. And in the next episode, they do come and they all band together to fight them all off and everything. And Dirk and Chef pair up and do some tag team shit to kill them.
Now, how graphic a kills do we get in this?
It's still cartoony, so like the blood's not like red blood, it's like goo blood type monster blood stuff, but they do some pretty, no like decapitation, see the head flying off somewhere. It's a lot of just stabs to the chest, cuts, and stab into feet kind of things, and throw a monster way off into the distance and smash it against a wall, or
they explode into like dust or something.
No explosions or anything.
Oh wow! So, but they are killing people. So, but this episode with Bruce, I had nothing wrong with Bruce's acting. Man, I do not like the animation in this show.
Oh, what do you not like about it?
I don't know. There's something about it. It just did not. Everything looks so weird.
It feels like they were trying to balance 2D with 3D animation type stuff.
Yeah, I think that's like a thing. A lot of these because this was a Canadian show. I remember I had a coworker once who would tell me all the time about these Canadian animation, how it's like really cheaply done. And this looked like that. It was like kind of like a program or something like that. Like it's not illustrated. It's kind of like a
right for it being a Netflix series. It seemed like it could have just been like on television, like it was made quick for cheap to get the series moving, but Netflix definitely could have had time making it. So
yeah, Netflix.
They just didn't. Oh, yeah. I get that. I still enjoy it.
What a weird. How do you think Bruce got in this show? It's kind of a weird role, isn't it?
Yeah, because even as you're reading off the cast, I'm like, who's he involved with?
Right.
Who is the producers and stuff? Or is there like?
Well, it's even like Catherine O'Hara. I mean, she's even like that's kind of a big name. I feel like having Sally as her.
So it feels like we're missing like a person that connects all these people somehow.
So let's see. It was directed. No one we would know. Steve Ralston, Willem Lau. I don't see any producers listed. Yeah, I don't see any producers. I mean, Mark Hamill's in everything. He's like he voices something in everything.
Oh, okay.
So that's no surprise there.
I didn't know that was kind of his thing.
Yeah, he's always in something. Is he a bad guy in this? He's usually a bad guy.
What's this person's name? Do we know?
Bartle. No, he doesn't look like he's a bad guy.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Most of like the named characters aren't really bad guys because there's that in Jack. He's talking with like that being that's in the other dimension, still trying to get into that dimension to take over because I can't remember the name of that being, but it was the cause of the rift. Let all the monsters in. That thing Jack was talking to was inside that monster's chest or whatever.
Okay,
it was in a tree earlier in the season and launched itself, and that's when Jack got betrayed by one of the monsters. So he went on for a second, not trusting any of them, but he eventually overcomes that.
So no one really notable that's involved in production. I mean, this Max Brailer, the author, he's a producer of it. It's produced by a company called Thunderbird Entertainment and Atomic Cartoons. It does say though it is officially canceled.
Damn it!
But apparently Max Brailer is currently trying to get a live action version going.
Not sure how I feel. They'll make it, if they get live action, it's going to be that dark, gritty things that you hate.
Yeah.
Just take this thing and make it darker.
I don't know. If he's involved, I mean, he's the author, so I mean, I imagine he'd try to keep it.
I think this show, if they did do live action, would benefit like as a, maybe not to the extreme, but like Scott Pilgrim versus the World type style.
Okay.
Sort of thing. Maybe not, but not to that far extreme of like gamers type stuff. Just like how they did their fight scenes and stuff like that. Something in that kind of regard. It would work. So
it should make it more splattery. I'd have like these monsters like gooey, more like goo, colorful goo flying around, that kind of stuff.
It's a good live action that did that well. It'd be like if we got like the kind of violence we got out of Willy's Wonderland, get across to that and Scott Pilgrim versus the World type of things, but make them real monsters, real goo, splash.
Imagine the effects would be kind of pricey.
Anytime you add splatter.
All these monsters too are like very like imaginative, but not like generic looking. They're pretty
Oh yeah, everyone has their own little.
Yeah, like there's no like, there's like there's like a race of like a certain type of monsters. Like they all look different.
Yeah, the only one is like those winged creatures is only kind of like copy and paste type monster. But yeah, the rest of them all have their own personality, different look. It feels like they all came from a different dimension together, but it's like...
Do we ever get to see that other dimension?
No, not in the series as it exists right now. The closest thing you get is when Jack looks in through the tree and he's like talking, but it's just a big white space, really. It's like emptiness. So no real look at the other...
I feel like I might at least watch the first book movie.
Oh yeah, I mean it's
just to see what I'm just curious of the background of it.
Yeah, because it starts with showing like how it all came to be and everything. Because the girl June, she's not with them at first. Because Jack and Quint are just friends from high school before all this started. They're just already friends, and they're kind of together they get together when it all goes down. Then they get with the bully guy, and then they go to the school where June's held up. They kind of ruin her hold up because she was there held up by herself.
Okay.
And they kind of ruined all of her like forces she had together. So she ended up having to leave with them.
Okay.
Sort of thing. So they kind of fucked her. And then they just live in this tree house now inside this area with all the other monsters now that they befriended.
Over the whole series, what's Bruce's total arc? What's his arc as it stands? He just
starts as an asshole. He just slowly becomes more helpful, helping them along because he wasn't helpful to them at all. He kind of didn't even want them around. So there's like food fights and stuff between Chef and he got pissed at these kids first because they were like secretly fighting monsters, sort of. Man, it's hard because Jack was trying to like go through this book that one of the other monsters gave him, and each time he killed one, they got like a stamp in this book. But what he didn't know, how he's being betrayed, was it was actually unlocking the door for the being in the tree to come into that universe.
Oh, wow.
He thought he was doing some kind of task that was going to help end it all, but he was actually helping it along by killing these monsters and getting the stamp in this book and everything. So he's kind of secretly going around doing that with his friends, and they all thought they were doing a good thing. But they were fighting in Chef's kitchen, a big food fight and everything in there. He just gets pissed at him for that. But he slowly just starts helping them out more. Like, again, they start tag teaming to destroy these monsters. They just become friends after that. He just becomes more helpful, helping them along and everything.
So how do you feel about Bruce's voice acting in this?
It's, a lot of times it feels like he didn't get the direction of what it was supposed to be, like what the action was going on. Like,
I wonder if like he like, because it's a Canadian show, so I wonder if it's something like they just like rented a studio out for him to like do some.
That's what it feels like.
Some lines in.
Yeah, that's what it feels like with a lot of the lines, because it doesn't really feed into the action of what's going on.
No,
like,
it didn't seem like when even this episode, just one episode I watched, it didn't seem like his like energy was matching what we were seeing.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of like, here's your lines. Deliver these lines in a Bruce type way, and he did. I mean, he had his little one-liners. And
yeah,
stuff,
of course. At least it seemed like they was like, writing it for him.
But in this episode, so he's getting this kid. He's like, all right, to be your final test as a monster, you have to eat like a monster, because he's a chef. Because that makes sense. He sits him down, puts his just glob of goop in front of him. And he's like, he says sorry to his stomach Hurley. He calls his stomach Hurley. And then he just starts eating it. And it's like tentacle stuff, so just like hairs and everything. He's just powering through it. And after he gets through the whole thing, he's like, there, I did it. And Chef's just, good. I hope you save room for dessert. He's like, oh, crap. Like he just wasn't done.
I cannot find anything where Bruce has said much about the show. Like,
you probably won't find much about where anybody said anything about the show, probably.
Yeah, it seems almost like it might have been just
which is weird, because it went on for like a couple seasons for there not to be anything.
Right. It doesn't seem like I can't find anything where he like talks about his time on it, or that's bizarre. He usually pretty active about this kind of stuff. I'm right there with you though. I think that some of this, it just seemed like it was kind of directionless.
Right.
With his voice acting anyways.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that was probably some of like the bigger names like you mentioned, if I would have known, because there are just times like that. It's like kind of a line without matching the intensity of what's going on, or just the tone in general. It's just a line. So probably whoever Mark Hamlin plays, if I would known it was him, maybe I would have picked up on that also. Like, so probably those bigger names they just brought in for a bigger name, but no real direction. I can see that. But in this episode, so he ate this junk and he brings up this dessert. It's which Dirk is kind of excited for. He's like, oh, that actually looks good. Smells good too. And as soon as he's about to bite into it, his 3 eyes open up and start looking at him. He's like, holy crap. He's like, it's alive. And Chef Bruce is like, yeah, this is a delicacy in my dimension. So, and it's best to be eaten alive. And so he's just agging him on to try to eat it. He about does it. He picks it up. He's just like, no, can't do it. like it's a living thing. He just refuses to do it. And then Bruce's character Chef gets all upset. He's like, no. And the rest of the monsters are just like, yay, you passed the test. You have to have a heart to be a monster. But yeah, and that was just like his final test, and they allow him to be an honorary monster.
Which is what he always wanted. He wanted to be an honorary monster.
And Chef is just upset about it. He's like, what did he say? This dimension sucks zombie eggs.
Yeah,
that was like his line.
Yeah, that was the line.
He probably wouldn't. That one was probably written for him.
Yeah, this dimension sucks zombie eggs.
Didn't know zombies laid eggs.
Nope,
they don't in this dimension. They don't in this series at all. So,
well, that was it.
But that's a short one for everyone today.
Yeah, well. Yeah, let's go and let's talk about our next segment. Let's go ahead and let's find out what the quality of Campbell is.
Good. Bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
Last Kids on Earth, Bruce Campbell, Chef.
Which of those three things excite you?
Bruce Campbell.
Which of those things don't excite you?
Probably Last Kids on Earth.
Last Kids on Earth.
Wasn't impressed. I wasn't too. I don't know. It's like, I put this show off for so long, so it kind of seemed like something I might like, because I do have an affinity for old 80s and 90s animated series.
Oh yeah, it's definitely nothing like that.
Yeah, and I was kind of hoping it would be, or I was hoping it might have a little bit edge to it.
No, the more dynamic comes from the four kids together. So, you've seen in this, it was kind of a lackluster episode because these four kids aren't even interacting that much. Mm-hmm. So the real dynamic of the show comes when those four kids are doing things together.
Okay.
So it is kind of, I didn't think about that till now, but they are split apart in this episode, each doing their own thing.
I don't think there's more than two on the screen at one time. That's only very briefly.
Yeah, that's just when June was aggravating Quint to get the radio fixed, and he basically goes off on her and she goes away. But for the most part, all four of them are just off doing their own thing, and that's probably why this episode kind of suffers, is because that is the true dynamic of the show, is those four kids.
So if you had to give Bruce Campbell a Chef quality Campbell, what would it be?
Not groovy.
Not groovy?
Not groovy.
Okay.
They could have got, maybe if they, like you said, it just feels like, here's your script, Bruce. Can you read these lines?
Right.
If it had been something he was more invested in, he probably could have gave us a better performance. It just felt like they were just getting names on the show for the sake of getting names on the show, which still didn't help it. It ended up getting canceled anyway.
Right. Well, Netflix cancels everything though, so.
Yeah. After a 2-season run, they're like, okay, we're charging too much for this now. We can't do it.
Well, I mentioned this. I read recently, like the way Netflix, it's not ratings, it's how many new subscribers. It doesn't matter how many people are watching it. It only matters how many new people have got accounts to watch it.
Which makes sense. They make money off subscribers and not views.
For myself, Bruce Campbell, Chef, I'm going to have to go with you, Mike. I want to give it a not groovy.
It's unfortunate.
I didn't like it. As for the show, too, I don't know. The show had no edge to it. I wanted a little bit of edge.
They probably would have been better off instead of getting these names just to get people that were actually invested into the character. It could have been anyone do the voices, right?
Right.
So if they've just got more people that were more involved into the show, really in for it, they probably could have got better performances and such.
Would the quality of Campbell improve if I was saying overarching the whole series? Would it improve, or are you still saying?
Probably not.
Still not groovy?
Like, he does play more of a part, but he's not integral to the series in any way.
Okay.
So he's he's a nice character to be there that does develop more, but he's not like a key player in any way.
There you have it, Bruce Campbell, Last Kids on Earth. But we want to talk to you guys a little about something that's coming up here next week. Is the conclusion to our Deadites Day giveaway.
You're too proud of that name.
I am very proud of that. I'm the creative one of the group.
Oh, okay.
So Deadites Day is coming to a wrap next week. On Valentine's Day, we will announce the winner of 2 general admission tickets to Bruce O Rama at Pelham, Tennessee, in the beautiful Caverns. And this right here, once again, the only thing you have to do to win this is to post a picture on Instagram. It can be of your collection, of your fan art, of your cosplay. Maybe you want to screenshot your spicy fan fictions and put those on Instagram. Use the hashtag Deadites Day, and I'll make sure that's on Instagram so you know how to spell it. And it'll also be here in the information of this video.
Show notes, as they're called.
Show notes. I remember back in the day on YouTube, the crotch. They call it like the crotch.
Whoever called it the crotch?
I love the YouTubers I watched.
Wow, you watched horrible YouTubers back in the day.
Check the crotch.
Nope.
Yeah.
Don't like that at all. We did not watch the same things.
So if you check on there, you'll see how to spell it. But yeah, post that. Post these. Post anything you want on Instagram. Use that hashtag. And on Valentine's Day next week, we will make our decision of who is going to get 2 general admission tickets to Pelham, Tennessee, Bruce O Rama. These are just general admission tickets. They don't cover room or board or travel. So,
but they do have camping at the Caverns.
They do have camping at the Caverns. I believe we are going to have some Cult of Campbell representatives there as well. So make sure you swing by. If you are going to Pelham, Tennessee, if you already bought your tickets, you make sure you say hi to us because you might get yourself a free pin out of it. All of our friends at Bruce Fest know how that goes. Say hi and get a free pin.
Yeah, basically, if you just say anything to us, recognize our existence, you get a pin.
Yeah, acknowledge us, and we'll give you a pin.
Validate me, God damn it!
I mean, we're the #1 Bruce Campbell podcast in the world. If you don't win though, the giveaway, you can get your tickets on the Caverns.
Caverns.com.
Caverns.com. You can buy your tickets there. And Bruce O Rama is traveling all over the place. So if it's not anywhere local to you, make sure you look out for it. I mean, it's all over the place. We will also be in the Columbus, Ohio one as well. So
yep.
That's going to be cool. But the Caverns, man, what a unique experience.
Right. If you want to make a whole weekend of just hiking, camping, checking out waterfalls,
so much stuff
going to
there.
Outlooks. I mean, if you've ever been to Tennessee at all, I mean, if you're from or been to Tennessee, you know what the landscape is like. You know, go check out some of the local restaurant cafes or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, it's just good outdoors experience.
It is. It's going to be an awesome time. But yeah, the Caverns, you're going to watch Evil Dead 2 inside of a cave.
Wonder how that'll sound.
I don't know. They do live events there all the time. I'm sure they got it figured out.
Hopefully they got figured out.
You'll have to let us know.
Yeah, I'll find out. I'll be down there.
Groovy or not groovy. But there you guys have it, ladies and gentlemen. That has been Cult of Campbell, Last Kids on Earth. Have you seen Last Kids on Earth? Let us know what you think of Bruce Campbell as chef in the series. And do you want to see that show continue?
I do, kind of.
Write Netflix.
Right at Netflix.
Yeah, write them letters.
Dear Mr. Netflix.
Yeah. Dear Pete Netflix.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. This is the actual guy at Netflix.
Yeah, Pete Netflix.
Peter Jacob Netflix. That's his name.
You look it up, take that to the bank.
Yeah, I read it on the Wikipedia.
If you find yourself at Last Fan Standing and they ask who created Netflix,
there you go. That's on the house.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's on me. There you have it, guys. I've been Mike. I've been Ty. Damn, I almost said your name. What was that shitty bit you and Bailey do?
You're just jealous.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, and I'm Bailey.
Make sure you guys check out Cult of Campbell every Monday here on this feed. Cult Talk Conspiracy is every other Tuesday. Cult of Lore every first and third Thursday.
Sometimes Friday. Sometimes Saturday.
You can find us on all of our social medias at Cult Talk Net. That's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all the things. Make sure you guys follow and ring the bell on Spotify.
Yeah, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. That helps.
Yes.
And rate us on Spotify as well. All these things help us grow. Let your friends know.
Yeah, don't let us become the same route as Last Kids on Earth. We won't get canceled.
Oh, please, God. I'm sure we're past 3 seasons by now if we wanted to count it up.
Maybe, if we counted it.
So we made at least longer Last Kids on Earth.
Yeah, we did. But yeah, and by the way, something exciting too. Next month is the kickoff to our new series here on Cult of Campbell, Tales from the Cult.
Ooh,
yeah, I've been banking those episodes.
At the time of recording this, you got one in the bag right now.
One in the bag right now. Yeah, that's a good one. So, keep an ear out for that. It'll be right here on the Cult of Campbell feed. That's good. I'm really excited about that series. But yeah, I've been Ty.
I've been Michael.
And as always,
stay groovy.
Never fuck with the king.
That's it? That's the best you got?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.